Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Learning Path. This is Dr. B. Meena, Associate Professor, Head Department of Commerce and Vice Principal Shift 1 from Petition College of Arts and Science, Adaya, Chennai. In this video, you are going to learn how to calculate the cash requirement for payment of wages for the employer. In the previous videos, I started discussing how to calculate the labor cost per man day of 8 hours. So in those calculations, I said you should ignore the employee's contributions for calculating the labor cost per man day of 8 hours because each and every month the employer will calculate what is the cost he is going to incur in the way of paying the wages and salaries. So when we are talking about the PF calculations, both the employer and the employee will contribute equally. So the employer's contribution only we need to consider as a labor cost to the employer. The contribution made by the employee will not be the cost for an employer because it's a contribution by the employee. It is no way becoming as a cost to the employer. But when we are talking about this topic, cash required for wage payment, what it is all about the home take, the net salary. Whenever you are going to work in any company, your friends may ask you, what's your home take? What's your home take or what's your net salary? That is cash required for wage payment. So every month, the employer is going to pay wages or salary for the workers after the deductions. So for those after the deductions for this calculation, we may have employer contribution to PF. We have employer contribution to PF. That is not going to be dispersed for every month. That is going to be deducted from the gross pay. So that is not going to be distributed every month. That is going to be benefited by each and every worker only after the retirement age or suddenly is going to apply for the PF loan, then they can do so. But what is the cash required when I'm going to distribute the salary for each and every month after considering the deductions? So in those calculation, we must ignore employer's contribution because that is not going to be paid for each and every month, the employer's contribution to PF. Okay, so please make a note for the calculation of cash record for wage payment, the employer's contribution, any contribution, either PF or ESI, is to be ignored. Okay, now look at this problem. From the following details, ascertain the amount of cash required for payment of salaries in a firm for the month of January. Normal time salaries is 65,000. DNS allowance 20 percentage of on one above. Okay, out of 65, 20% is the DA. Leave wages 5 percentage on the summation of 1 and 2. So whatever answer we are going to write for 1 and 2 on that 5 percentage. Okay. So these three things we must add to get an idea about the gross pay. Once we calculate the gross pay, then we will consider the deductions given in the problem and consider all those deductions to find out the cash required for wage payment, or we can say in as usual, that is practically we are speaking the net salary, the home take. Okay, now look at the solution. I put the heading as statement showing the net salary is payable. That was the question in this problem. Cash record for payment of salary is call it as what it is, net salary. Okay, so normal time salary 65,000. I put it here. On that 20% as DA. So 20 percentage in 65,000, I'll get 13,000. Leave wages as per the problem instructions, 5 percentage on the summation of 1 and 2. What is the summation of 1 and 2? 65,000 plus 13,000. So 78,000. On 78,000 into 5 percentage, I'll get 3,900. So these three amounts have to be added to get the net, that is gross pay. So what is my gross pay? 81,900. Out of this, the deductions are as per the problem. We need to consider the deductions. So what are the deductions as per the problem? We will look into one by one. The first deduction is employees contribution to ESI and PF. Okay, so this information have to be that is considered. In case if it is given as employer contribution means we must ignore it. Employees contribution we will consider, employers only we need to ignore it. So what is the contribution to ESI? 3%, and PF contribution is 5%. On what? 1 and 2 summation. So what is the 1 and 2 summation is 65 plus 13, 78,000. So 78,000 into 3% is ESI, 5% into 78,000 is the PF contributions of employees, not the employer. Okay, so 2,340, 3,900 will get. And next deductions were given as per this problem is TDS, that is income tax direct resources, 4,000. Deduction for insurance premium is 5,000. Festival advance to be required from 60 employees at rupees 100 per employee. So 60 employees are there. Each employee they gave advance, festival advance 100 rupees. So that is going to be required. Okay, so 60 into 100 from the salary they will deduct. Okay, whatever advance they are giving, either for festival advance or rent required in case they provided the quarters for staying. Okay, so 60 into 100, 6,000. So we'll have all this deduction. The summation of the deduction will get 21,240 to be deducted from the gross pay. Then what is the net salary? 16,660 rupees is the cash record for payment of salary for the employer. Okay, so again I'm highlighting what is to be ignored. Employer's contribution to ESI or PF must be ignored for cash requirement for payment of wages. Okay, look at this problem. Another problem, from the following particulars find the amount of cash required for payment of wages in a factory for the month of April 2008. We have normal wages 2,05,000, wages for overtime 22,000, leave wages 17,000. So if you add these three things, you will get an idea about what is a gross pay. And what are the deductions given in this problem? Employees share to ESI, we need to consider 5,000, and provident fund also contribution from the employees 16,000. And I said no, house rent also they will give required from the salary. 30 employees they like the for these employees the company may give quarters, so that rent can be recorded from the salary. So 30 into 100. So all these three deductions to be deducted from the gross pay. I'll get to know what is the net wages. So look at this wages for normal works, and then overtime, leave wages. I considered all this thing, get an idea about the gross pay and what are the deductions. Get the deduction total 24,000, deduct it and get the net wages. This is another kind of problem. And one more problem I want to teach in this video. From the following particulars, find the cash record for payment of wages. We have the information here directly. Gross wages is given. Only we need to deduct the deductions. What are the deductions given? Here we have contribution to employees, ESI, contribution to PF. Simply they give. We don't know what is the contribution by the employer or employee. Look at the additional information. Employees are also required to contribute equal amount towards state insurance and provident. That means the previous two information is the contribution made by the employer. The same amount contributed by employees they were telling in the additional information. So which is to be considered? Only the employees contribution to be considered as deductions for the calculation of cash record for payment of wages. Then employer has provided accommodation for rent reducible rupees 50 per employee for total of 100 employees. So this is another deduction. And then the fourth deduction is festival advance required 200 rupees per employee from 120 employees. So totally we have four deductions. So gross wages already given the problem directly 4 lakhs. From that I deduct all these four deductions. Contribution to PF 6,000, ESI 10,000, house rent required 5,000, advance salary required 24,000. So totally the deductions were 45,000. So 4 lakhs minus 45, I'll get the cash record for payment of wages is other than called as net wages 3,55,000. So this is all about how to calculate the cash required, what is the money required if I'm going to be an employer or I'm a proprietor, what is the cash requirement for paying the wages or a salary every month after considering the deductions. So when I'm working out this calculation, I must ignore the employer contribution because that is not going to be settled now along with the salary. So this is all about the home take, the net salary, what I'm going to pay to my workers. Okay. Thanks for watching my video. See you again next video. Subscribe my channel. Keep supporting by passing your comments. We will look into the next video. Until then, bye bye.